Welcome to Open Your Reality. My name is Chad. I've been thinking about something lately, something that doesn't quite sit right. And I'm not talking about one thing. It's more like a pattern. And guys, I watch a ton of videos and I read a ton of information, and I just start to connect the dots. Did you ever get that feeling like things look normal on the surface, but underneath something is off? Well, I didn't used to question things like this, but I've been on the spiritual path for a long time now. I've worked, I've paid bills, I've watched what everyone else watches. And then I started listening a little bit more closely. That happened sometime in the mid-90s. And I'll never forget when I learned of David Icke. And I don't know what compelled me, but I wanted to read his books so badly. And the first one that I got was The Biggest Secret, and it was mind-blowing. And ever since then, I've been connecting the dots, and now I just can't unsee it. So what if the world that we're living in isn't what we think it is? And I know many of you truthers think the same way I do. You see everything that I talk about in my videos, but there's a lot of people out there that don't. But I want to show you something. There's a clip from our good buddy David Wilcock that exemplifies this exact point, and it stuck with me. It's about 2 minutes long. Check it out.
Very evil people are running the planet and want to kill you. And they're trying to do that, and they're aggressively pursuing this goal right now. There are two lines of reality in the world. In one reality, you are believing everything that they tell you, and you can't understand why things are so crazy. Those people who want to live in that denial, they are being battered by experience, they are being battered by information, they are being battered by consciousness, and they are seeing all of these things come in to their reality, whether they like it or not. Those of us in the truth community say, we don't understand why people can't conceptualize such simple things. This is simple information. Why can't you understand something that's so easy? Please try to have more compassion for these people who are suffering and understand that it has nothing to do with the simplicity of the concept. The concept is very simple. Very evil people are running the planet and want to kill you. And they're trying to do that, and they're aggressively pursuing this goal right now. Anyone could theoretically be a philosopher and say, well, I don't believe this and it makes me scared and it makes me feel unsafe. But hypothetically, theoretically, maybe perhaps just in case, what if it's real? Your maturation is the awakening that you are in a hero's journey, that there is a huge villain and you better get off your ass and fight him before he kills you. That's what's so hard to understand. It ultimately comes with the understanding that you cannot die. You cannot die. You are not threatened by anything. You have nothing to worry about. And this whole entire world, as traditional as it seems to be, is actually a reality construct. It's not real. It's an illusory reality. That's the awakening. That's why people have a hard time seeing something that, oh, it's so simple. Why can't they see it? It's such an easy thing to understand. No, it's a paradigm shift. It's coming to realize that everything you ever thought was true in your life is a freaking lie.
You see how David talks about how reality itself may not be what we've been told? That there's a layer, almost like a veil, over everything, and evil people are running the planet and want to kill us. And that part hit me. It wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Like, this isn't something obvious. It's something most people just don't see. And that got me thinking, if something that big were true, would the average person even recognize it? Or would they just keep going about their day doing the same things day in and day out, and never really questioning the structure around them? Because honestly, I think that's what most people do, right? But then I came across something else, a completely different voice, years earlier, a book that I have, Behold a Pale White Horse. Yes, I'm talking about Bill Cooper. And what he said connects the dots in a different way, but just as powerful.
That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million a year. It is the Roman circus. I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets, and they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets. did in last night's game. It's sad. It's really sad. But let me tell you something. When 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it. But 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country. You have a reflection of the society in which that exists. And it is a sick society that is doomed to self-destruction.
So based on that scenario, there's some truth into what these men are looking at.
Absolutely. And that's what makes me so sick, is that I'm trying to wake up a people who on a daily basis are proving the ones that I'm warning them about to be right.
Did you hear what he said in that clip? Bread and circus, distraction, keep people entertained, keep them comfortable, keep them busy, where they won't ask questions, where they won't look deeper, or they don't even want to, because all they're focused on is survival. Think about that for a second. When was the last time that you actually sat in silence without looking at your screen, without all the noise of the TV and the phone and anything pulling your attention? It's quite rare now, and that's why meditation is so powerful. It's almost unnatural to sit quietly. But why? Because maybe distraction isn't so random. Maybe it's by design. And that leads me to something even more subtle, something that we all interact with every single day. And I'm talking about screens, talking about phones, TVs, laptops. You see, there's this clip from a scientist and doctor named Jack Kruse that really made me pause.
Reason that all your computer screens are blue lit, the reason none of them are red lit, the reason none of them pay attention to circadian biology is because that original technology was developed in a government program that Bobby Kennedy knows about and I happen to know about because I went to medical school at LSU. For those of you who've never heard about Operation Paperclip, you think it's all conspiracy theory. So at Tulane Neurology and Tulane Neurosurgery in the 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, the CIA started a program there where they would do all these crazy things to monkeys. The CIA wanted to see how they could control things utilizing different things like drugs and things like that. Where the neurosurgeons got involved, which is my clade, we would drill tops of the heads off, put wires into the thalamus, put electricity in there, and kind of see what kind of behavioral changes we could have. One of the guys that was in that program was a guy named Professor Delgado. When he saw that we could control the behavior with the wired device, he said, what if we do it wirelessly? So he checked it in monkeys and checked it in bulls, and it turned out you can do it wirelessly with RFID chips and semiconductors. Then the CIA took it to the next level. They said, well, since this is electromagnetic radiation, what if we did it through light through screens? And it turns out you can. And that's the reason why all your computer screens have the frequencies they have. So why is this all important? Well, the person that set this meeting up between me and Bobby is the patent attorney that made sure that Google and Meta have those things so they can control the things that we all do.
Did you hear how he was talking about blue light? How artificial light, especially from screens, but also from almost every other light that we have, affects our biology. It affects our sleep, our focus, our mood. And the thing is, this isn't fringe information anymore. This is quite measurable. Even the LEDs and the fluorescent lights above, these things cause problems for the brain and the body. But here's the question that keeps echoing in my mind. Why is everything built this way? Why is the modern world designed around something that slowly drains our energy? These things disrupt our rhythm and they keep us off. Is it just a little bit of convenience, or is it something deeper? Now let's pause for a second here. You have distraction, you have manipulation of attention, you have environments that affect your body and mind. And then you have something even more direct, and I'm talking about those green dollars, money, or more specifically, taxes. See, there's this other clip that I want to show you. I saw this clip last night, and it blew me away. Not because I didn't know all this, but just in the way it was phrased.
How did we go from fighting a revolution over a 2% tax on a breakfast beverage to what we pay today? And we're taxed on money when we receive it, when we spend it, when we keep it, when we invest it, and even when we die with it. It gets worse. We commute to work to make that money in a car that is taxed again to register on roads we're already taxed to build, fueled by gas that is taxed even further, and many times through tolls that tax you again. And that's to maintain bridges and highways and tunnels that already have billions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, allocated to them, and they're still falling apart. And then when you get to your office that is taxed to exist, in a corporation that is also taxed to do business, that almost certainly requires permits and other things, which are another tax, you are paid a paycheck that the corporation must match another payroll tax on top of what they have to pay you. Then you go to a home of which you are taxed to own every single year that we bought with money that the government already taxed us on. Oh, by the way, the more money you make and the more you pay in taxes warrants the government taking more and even higher percentages of your money.
If you really listen to what he said, it's kind of mind-blowing here, because what's really happening is that you're not just working to live, you're working inside a structure that constantly pulls from you in ways you don't fully control. And it's not just about money, it's about dependence. Because the more complex the system becomes, and it is a very complex system, the harder it is to step outside of it, and the less people question it. So now we have this pattern forming. Can you see it? Information that suggests reality isn't what you think it is, voices saying that we're being distracted on purpose, technology like our phones affecting us in ways that we barely notice, and systems that keep us locked in certain ways of living and doing things. But here's where it gets even stranger. What if this isn't the peak of human progress? What if we've actually gone backwards? Yes, backwards. Like we had the technology in the past that we don't have today. And I've been looking into older photos and records, and I've been exploring the internet. And things just never really line up when you do that. You know, the architecture from years gone by seems way too advanced for its time. And there are stories about civilizations we just don't fully understand, like the idea of Tartaria, lost knowledge, forgotten systems. Now, I'm not saying every theory out there is true, but what I am saying is this. There are gaps in the story that we've been told. And those gaps are definitely worth paying attention to, because when you start digging deeper, you find things like earlier footage showing electric vehicles and devices that look suspiciously like modern screens. Decades, centuries, maybe thousands of years before they existed. How is that possible? Fascinating, right? I'm sure many of you have seen those clips. So now you have to ask yourself, Are we discovering things for the first time really today? Or are we just rediscovering what was already there? And if that's the case, then what happened to that lost knowledge? Where did that technology go? Why does it feel like we're advancing, but at the same time, becoming more dependent, more distracted? Here's the main thought that I can't shake. What if control doesn't look like force, like it's a prison planet? But what if it looks more like comfort? What if it looks more like convenience and entertainment? Because if you can shape what people see, what they focus on, what they believe is normal, then you don't need to control them directly. They'll just do it themselves. And I'm not saying everything is some grand plan, because it's not everything. But I am saying this. When you line these ideas up, they start to point in a certain direction, a direction that suggests that we might not be seeing the full picture here. So now I'm left with a question, and maybe you are too. If all of this is even partially true, and believe me, I have way more to show you in future videos, then what else are we missing? What else is hiding in plain sight? And guys, that's the whole point of this channel, to reveal those things to you. Because once you start noticing, you can't go back. And maybe that's the real shift. Not proving anything, not forcing the answers on people, but simply seeing differently. Because if you can get them to see differently, then maybe, just maybe, they'll open their reality. And if enough people start to see differently, then what happens? Well, we start to wake up. I really appreciate you sticking with me all the way until the end. And if you want to see more content from me, don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to watch another video, there's another one right here that YouTube is specifically recommending for you. I recommend you check it out. See you soon. Peace.